Brethren, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We're going to be diving into the latest around Arsenal because Charles Schwartz has just confirmed that this summer Arsenal will sign a forward, and it will be shocking and surprising if that does not happen. We're going to be diving into some of the names that are being reported right about now, including Antonio Sanabria, Kai Havertz, and of course, most importantly, Mohamed Diaby at Bayer Leverkusen. Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. Let me know in the comment box below which striker, which forward do you think Arsenal should be looking at. Now, according to Charles words, he says the profile is very clear of the striker they want. They want someone who can play down through the middle, but also someone who can deputize for Saka and deputize for Gabriel Martinelli as well. Reece Nelson, who has just signed a new deal, is seen as a potential left winger, a backup for Martinelli and Leandro Trossard. So Arsenal needs someone to back up Saka, and also to always be that guy that Mikel Arteta can always turn to if Gabriel Jesus is out of form, or probably there is some rotation needed indeed. So we need someone that has two very versatile qualities. One, he can play on either flank, but also number two, can play as a false nine, just like Jesus, right? Hit the like button for me. Let's get this video to 500 likes. Hit the comment box below with your opinions and suggestions, because I will do a video about Arsenal's next number 9. I think there is a conversation to be had, especially when it comes to Gabriel Jesus and a new signing that we could make. So I need your suggestions here. Who is the striker that you think Arsenal should be signing? And what are your thoughts on Gabriel Jesus? Is he the, is he a player that can score 20 goals plus, right? When we signed him, I actually said he would score 22 Premier League goals, but, picking up that injury maybe deterred him from, such a target. But I still think he was never going to make it, okay? Now, he misses a lot of chances. It's not that very clinical, but, and I'm going to say but, he's such a very important player for Mikel Arteta. So let me know, do you think Arsenal should sign a massive striker like Victor Osimhen, or we are okay, to go with Gabriel Jesus? Now, let's get into the conversation. Now, first and foremost, Charles Schwartz has been speaking on his YouTube channel today about what is going to happen with the centre forward position at Arsenal, especially reacting to the Eddie Nketiah and Florian Balagan issues. And he said right now, Arsenal are ready to bite the bullet for when it comes to Florian Balagan. He has 2 years on his contract, and he doesn't want to stay. He doesn't want to sign a new deal. So Arsenal will bite the bullet on this one. Let him go. He's had a very fantastic, season in France, and there is a lot of interest for him. Inter Milan, AC Milan, Monaco, Reims, some of the big powerhouses are really interested in Florian Balagan, and maybe this is the time for Mikel Arteta to decide that he's gonna go. And then Mikel says that as well, Florian Balagan will leave Arsenal because what we want to do does not suit him. What Mikel Arteta wants to do is just to sign in a formidable forward who can play as a backup for Saka, can be a centre forward as well, can also play on the left-hand side of the pitch. Now, Florian Balagan, of course, we know he's that static number 9. I don't think he's a static number 9. I mean, I wouldn't think of him as a Mikel Antonio at West Ham, or again Lucas Kamaka. I don't think he's that kind of guy. I look at him more as Alexander Isak, that kind of vibe, runs a lot. I think with the difference between Isak and Balagan is Balagan spends much more of his time in the penalty area, and that's why he's so deadly. And that's why that all the chances that are created in the penalty space always fall onto him, all right? So Charles Schwartz says it's very important to note that Arsenal's target this summer is to sign a forward, and it will be surprising if that does not happen, okay? So, I mean, that's quite very refreshing. Going into the Champions League with Martinelli, Saka, Jesus, and Trossard is not bad. Like, it's not a very bad shout. But you look at the backups, and that's what we're trying to do. And again, Charles has been speaking about it, in his recent video. And he said what Arsenal want to improve is, one, their first 11, but then we also want to improve those first 16, 17 players, so that when Gabriel Jesus is out of the team, you have a player like Kai Havertz, starting, a player like maybe MOUSA Diaby starting, you have a player like maybe Antonio Sanabria starting, and it's one of the reasons why Arsenal didn't win the Premier League, in his opinion, that the first 16 players are not yet that quality, and it's the difference between Manchester City and Arsenal at the moment. Now, I agree, 100% Arsenal need a forward, and I agree that player should be versatile to help Saka on the right-hand side, and also to calm down in the middle when Gabriel Jesus is not being used. Because for me, Eddie Nketiah has never been that quality striker, like, with all due respect. So what are the names that we are looking at, and where are we in terms of progress, and how would we feel about them? Number one is Kai Havertz. Again today, The Telegraph, one of the big reporters, Matt Lowe, has been speaking about, Kai Havertz's interest from Arsenal. And he says Arsenal are thought to be monitoring the development of Kai Havertz, but Chelsea's asking price, which is believed to be around £70 million, has been far a put off. Far a put off for potential bidders. He says Havertz has not indicated a desire to extend his contract yet, and is thought to be interested in a move away from the Stamford Bridge this summer. Now, what we understand and what I know is that Chelsea are willing to sell Kai Havertz. There is no question about that. Real Madrid are not even willing to offer 60 million euros plus add-ons. They are not willing to go to go as high as that for Kai Havertz. I think Madrid is the preferred destination for Kai Havertz. However, if Arsenal can't pay the right amount of money and give him the right amount of wages, right now Arsenal and Chelsea are far apart. Arsenal's development process is very, very far apart, and he would fancy a move to Arsenal. But this is where the problem is. We're signing a player who has time and again decided and proven that he's not capable of playing in the Premier League. Now, I love him very much. I do love Kai Havertz. I think he's one of those players that are really gifted, technically gifted. But my problem with this deal is that what is the guarantee? What guarantee is there that he will blossom at Arsenal? Like, the Premier League has been such a very, very difficult league for him to cope up physically. I think technically he's a good player. And I don't think the technical requirements of the Premier League are actually above his standards. But is he the guy, right? Is he the guy for Arsenal? Now, many people do underestimate his ability to play on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, as a number 10, but also as a false 9. I think that is a huge mistake. You can't underestimate his ability to do that. He's such a quality player, okay? But my problem is his struggles in the Premier League, and whether Mikel Arteta can actually help him navigate past those problems. Now, of course, what we understand with Kai Havertz at the moment is that Arsenal have not had any concrete talks or approach to Chelsea. Chelsea still think that anyone who wants to sign Kai Havertz should be going for above £60 million. We have talked to the player secretly, but that doesn't mean anything is bound to happen. Now, the other player is, of course, MOUSA Diaby. Arsenal have been a very, very big admirer of MOUSA Diaby, with, of course, Fabrizio Romano in the summer saying, around May, saying that watch out for MOUSA Diaby. He's been scouted for by Arsenal on a couple of occasions. He's wanted, he's loved, and Mikel Arteta really, really understands him. And in my opinion, to be honest, MOUSA Diaby would be the player that I wish Arsenal to sign, because one, he's proven time and time again at Bayer Leverkusen in the last 2 years that he's not hitting a stint of form. He's not hitting this kind of lucky jackpot of form. He's a player that has been really nurtured in those forward positions. Is playing, more on the right hand side, despite that the fact that he's a left-footed player. He's played more on the right wing with the likes of Jeremy Frimpong as right back, providing that kind of support. And that's what we are looking for. We are looking for a player potentially and can substantially help out Saka. Saka's played so many games, and we'll talk about his burnout towards the end of the season as I do that video on why Arsenal capitulated. We'll talk about his burnout, his kind of disorientation, and everybody will ask themselves the question that how does he become disoriented after signing such a huge contract? But for me, it was the burnout. It's the burnout that caused that kind of disorientation and the lack of form, okay, and the dip in form. So MOUSA Diaby must be a very, very big shout to members of this channel. You love him. You lot really, really do love him. Now, what I understand with MOUSA Diaby and the price tag is that one, Leverkusen will be a little bit softer. This summer, they're expected to sell. I think last summer it was, either you pay astronomical fees or you do not get him. This season, we don't expect him to come for a king's crown. So that is what we're expecting. Around 50 million euros, around 60 million euros could actually do the deal. So if you're going to spend 60 million euros on either Kai Havertz or MOUSA Diaby, who should we bring in? In my opinion, that should be MOUSA Diaby, because the last 2 seasons have been very good, very young as well. And I think it would be this kind of new, exciting, breed of a player to the Premier League, right? Other than Kai Havertz, who has played at Chelsea, things have not gone very, very well. He's got his own kind of, dinosaurs and devils tracking him in the Premier League. I think it would be very good to bring a new player to the Premier League, nurture them, and introduce them into our system. But again, that is one other name. Now, the other name is Antonio Sanabria. Now, Antonio Sanabria is one of the very interesting names, playing at Torino, 27 years of age. He's a Paraguayan forward. Now, he's not scored any significant numbers for me to go, yeah, he's the player. Sanabria would be more like like a nailed-on number 9. He's got the quality to play on the left, on the right as well. He's 27, brings in the experience, and I think it would provide us with something different from Gabriel Jesus. The vibes of a number 9. When you have that kind of striker, the Hurricane vibes, the Erling Haaland vibes, the Julian Alvarez vibes. That vibe of a number 9. I think he's a much better player than Edin Ketia in terms of quality. But I think I would keep Edin Ketia instead of, bringing Antonio Sanabria. Because if we give Edin Ketia more chances, there is a possibility that he will be scoring double figures every single campaign. I'm not saying he's good enough to keep. I'm saying that he's better than, it would be a much better deal than Sanabria. And for me to bring in Sanabria, I would definitely keep Florian Balagan. Because Balagan, I know he won't score those 20 goals that he scored in the French Ligue 1, but he's our number 9. Like, he is our number 9. Why do we sign Sanabria if we can't keep Florian Balagan? So Sanabria is another player that Arsenal looking at. It could cost around 10 million euros in this summer should we decide to move in on the deal. Pedro Goncalvez is another player, Poitsy. We've talked about him. Did have a very, very outstanding home and away performance against Arsenal in the UEFA Europa League until when he knocked us out. I think with Pedro Goncalvez, it's the versatility. It's the versatility that I would love with him. He's played as a central midfielder. He's played as a left winger and a right winger before. He's got that very good left foot. And I think he would be sparkling. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. Remember when we signed Andre Arshavin? I think, he would be that kind of signing. The glittering, sparkling, moonlight, sparkles, right? That's the guy. Talented. Heavily, hugely, massively talented. But Arsenal looking at him, which is very, very good. I think Sporting would be looking at around maybe 30 million euros, maybe 40 million euros. Such a very important player to them. So I really cannot even, suggest the price. But I will definitely look onto the transfer market website and I'll see how much he would definitely be going for, all right? But one thing to take note of is that his versatility could actually potentially put him ahead of the list of forwards that we're looking at, and it could potentially, we could look at him in terms of the price. much cheaper, very, very cheaper, as compared to, Kai Havertz and Mohamed Diaby and all these other players that were linked with Dusan Vlahovic, Victor Osimhen is much cheaper. And he adds a lot of quality in very, very many areas, okay? So that is there as well. And finally, for me, the option that Arsenal should be looking to do is to keep Florian Balagan. I understand Charles has said that. It's time to bite the bullet. You need to know when to sell on the right time. Balagan doesn't want a new deal, doesn't want another loan deal. It's either you keep me as your number 9 or I'm leaving. And that's such a very, very terrible decision by Florian Balagan, in my opinion. I'm not saying that eventually was going to become Arsenal's gold prince, like in terms of a centre forward, but I'm also saying that if Edin Ketia has gotten his chances, how about you wait? Because if he trusts his game, which I do trust, and I know he trusts his game, I think it would be easy to topple over Edin Ketia. I think Edin Ketia is only in that Arsenal squad due to his patience, due to his ability to sit on the bench without complaining, as Mikel Arteta keeps on to overlook him day in, day out. Balagan doesn't want that, and maybe that's the reason as to why he's going to leave. But for me, if there is any small window that he stays, we definitely keep him. But I want your thoughts on Mohamed Diaby, Kai Havertz, and all the players that we have talked about. And who is the forward that you think Arsenal should be, signing? Don't talk to me about Ivan Toney. Like, it's impossible. I would love him as well, but it's practically impossible. And don't talk to me about Alexander Mitrovic, please. Like, come and stand off for Alexander Mitrovic, just for now.